Good morning, YouTubers and Canal Rats. I'm glad you could tag along. And welcome to another edition of Paul K. Trail Boss Saturday Mornings Outdoors. We're once again on the famous, beautiful Cape Cod Canal trying to catch stripers. And a little windy today, so I got the heavier gear on. It's not cold, it's just windy. But I have a pretty good show today. Good gadget tips, a few gadget tips coming up, and we'll see how the canal treats me again this week. But hope you like this edition, and like and subscribe. And thank you very much for watching beforehand, and let's roll. And before we get started, I'd like to say last week while filming, I was reeling in a fish, and I slipped on some moss on a rock. I wiped out pretty good, and I'm so glad I got it on film. It's hilarious. So I edited it, and made it into a short, and I posted it on YouTube and as a short, and in about 6 hours I got like 8,000 views. You guys are sick. That's all I want to say. Pete Townsend of The Who was absolutely correct. He says, I spend like decades learning how to play the guitar well, doublets and triplets and all these exotic chords, and all people want to do is see me smash my guitar. So unfortunately, it takes a lot out of you to produce material like that. So it is what it is. If you want a really good laugh, check it out. It's on my channel. It's called I Fall Down in Cape Cod Canal. But thanks for the views. It's a lot of fun. It's really a lot of fun. I'm glad I had it. And I'm fine. I have no problem. I'm perfectly fine. But you guys are nuts. So we're going to get on with the conditions today. And the wind is pretty windy. You can probably hear it. Out of the northwest. Good 22 miles an hour, some of the gusts. It doesn't seem to be flattening out either. It's relatively steady. Doesn't matter. We're down here in the like I said last week, the ditch is down. It blocks a lot of it, but it is windy. Temperatures in the 50s, 53 degrees this morning when I left. And barometric pressure is relatively steady at 30.01. And for the moonheads, it's coming up on the first quarter, and we are on an easterly flow. It is an east tide, and we're coming up on about mid-stage, just moving along. And haven't really noticed as much bait this week as last week. I don't know if it's because it's really choppy, but I don't see birds, but it's relatively choppy and I can't really see in the water that well, but we're gonna find out, ain't we? But that's today's conditions, and it's cloudy too. I didn't mention that, it's overcast. But those are today's conditions, and hopefully that'll be good conditions for fishing. And so we let you know. And so we got a few new, we got a new gadget and a few new simple tips for you this week I'd like to show you. And I was at Bass Pro Shops and I picked up a new boga. Just a simple one. It ain't got no scale on it or nothing. You can spend $120 on bogas, but for guys that don't know, beginners, this is for lifting the fish out of the water. I feel I don't need, since I've been fishing since I was a kid, I don't need these, except I bought this for a toothy critter. And I get it, guys want to be ecologically sound and not handling the fish at all, but I'm just grabbing the stripers by the mouth. Really why I bought this is for bluefish and toothy critters. It'd be a lot easier handling them, grabbing them behind the gills, or behind the back of the head, behind the gills, squeezing them that way. And that's how I generally handle all the fish, sharks and all that. Just grab them behind the gills, and you're not hurting them that way. You're grabbing onto the meat, not the organs of the fish, and do your unhooking business and release them or whatever you're going to do with them. But kind of neat, very inexpensive, $15. And 15, 16 bucks. That's all Bass Pro Shops, but kind of cool. Rapala too, good brand, and they seem well built. And when you land more than 2 or 3 stripers, you get what we call striper thumb on the bottom of the mouth of the striper, and actually largemouth bass have it too. It's very sandpapery and rough, and God made it that way because to grip bait, I guess, and to crush stuff. But when you lip them, after 2 or 3, it really starts wearing away your thumb. It's really abrasive, and believe it or not, I've heard that you can get a very rare illness from that if it breaks through the skin. There's some kind of junk in the striper mucus on certain stripers that will get into your bloodstream and make you very sick. So I just heard it. It's just hearsay. I'm pretty sure it's a reputable source. So don't need that. So these might come in handy if you're paranoid about that. But that's what striper thumb is. All I can say is catch more than 3 stripers and just lip them when you release them, and you'll find out what striper thumb is. But anyway, that's this gadget that I wanted to show you. And we're going to go back to the rat cave, and there's a few tips there, and there's someone there I want you to meet. And through the magical, mystical science of editing, out to the rat cave. All right, we are back at the rat cave, and on today's segment on gadgets and how to do stuff fishing wise, I'm going to show you a few simple techniques that are time-saving devices, setting up your gear, and I think you'll enjoy it. But first and foremost, I want you to meet Denise. Last week we were making fun of Oil of Denise, and I said Oil of Denise, and you're going to be shocked at how gorgeous she is. She's beautiful, but I have to give you a disclaimer. She's topless. So here is Denise. She's the origin of Oil of Denise, and all my good luck with using that. So I figured I'd try to take a feeble attempt at humor. But let's get on with the gadget portion. This is a homemade item that I thought up. Very simple. If you're mediocre with woodworking, you can build this in probably half an hour. But it's simply a piece of wood here, a piece of wood going up. Attach it and a long bolt. Get it at Home Depot, anywhere, and it's a line winder. You put your line right up on there. The spool spins as it comes off. Properly on a revolving spool, you have to put it on the way it went on the spool. You have to put the line on your reel on the spool the way it is on the manufacturer's spool, otherwise it gets all twisted. But it's a very simple device, and anyone can do this. I mean, take a half an hour. It's really fun and satisfying, and you tighten it down, and you can put it just at the right tension with the washers to keep it flowing steady off the line. But it's a pretty useful gadget, and I hope you can make some use of that. And now on to the next simple tip. So on this next thing I wanted to show you, it's very basic and simple, but I'm getting my gear ready to go fishing on the trip. And I get all my gear sorted out and ready to go, so when it's time to roll, it's all ready to go in the car or truck. And I have my terminal tackle out here ready to put on my rod. And what I wanted to show you was, for 50 years I've been, I'm not that old, but when running the line through the guides, for 50 years I would take the rod apart and then I'd take the rod and put it together and then string the line through it. But why to go to all that problem? First of all, get yourself one of these. They have a few different kinds, and it's a Velcro strap, and it just holds the rod together nicely. And they're very cheap, inexpensive. Obviously, Bass Pro Shops. And I'm not sponsored by anybody, but what I wanted to show was, rather than putting the rod together, then you got to tie the rig on the end, and then rig it so that the rig stays on the rod. Just run the line together with the rod together. Do you follow what I'm saying? You don't have to assemble the rod to run the line. Hopefully I'm showing you this with this weird mount that I got on, my head mount. He said head mount. But you see what I'm doing here? Just run the rod, run the line. It's so much easier, and it saves so much time of assembling and disassembling and all that. And there you go. And now I'm ready to tie on my terminal gear. And the rod is already set up for just putting in the car once I put the terminal gear on. But that's what I wanted to show you. Very simple, but it's time saving, and it took me a long time to learn that. Rather than putting the rod together, then stringing the line, then pulling the rod back apart again. It's a lot easier just to do it that way. But anyway, back to the canal, and there's hopefully some good fishing. Trail Boss, let you know. And we are back at the canal, and one other thing I wanted to show you, speaking of Denise, is this is oil of anise. Any Ocean State job lot or anywhere, it's cheap. It's $1.50, and last week it worked like crazy. It really, really did. And Spice Supreme, I guess this brand is, and guys down in New Jersey, I've read many articles, and I've heard other blogs of, they swear by it, and I use it every now and then if it gets slow. I don't know if it's a confidence builder, or I think the stuff really works. It's oil and it's licorice. And in the book The Complete Angler, written 500 years ago by Sir Isaac Walton, one of the first books ever written on fishing, he was a fly fisherman in England, he mentions this. Really? I mean, so that's how long, and I think he even mentions that the Egyptians used it. So someone figured it out. I don't know how they got oil of anise connected with bait for fish, but freaking works. So if it works, go for it, you know. And unusual. In the sport of trapping, there's tons of baits, all concoctions that come out. I do a little bit of trapping myself. Not lately, because they outlawed leg hold traps in my state, unfortunately. We're all praying that they'll come back, but I did a lot of it when I was younger. And there's tons of concoctions like that. And the guys just have businesses of making those concoctions. But actually, you know, as I think of it, in the fishing business, there's a lot of those spray-on oils too. But I just go with this. And the baits that I use, predominantly, obviously, mac chunks, herring, all that stuff, they have their own oil. And when there is a blitz, you'll see the oil. You can see it. It's a slick area. I'll show you on the next blitzes that happen here if they're feeding on herring or pogies, oily fish. But that's one of the traits of it. Maybe that has what to do with why this stuff works. But I just think they like the licorice. So we'll let you know. And fish on. Here we go. Ain't going out again. ceremoniously throw them back. That water's pretty deep there. So I think I come up with an idea. I'm using this oil of Denise, and when you pour it on, a lot of it goes on the ground and it's wasted. So I'm thinking, when I get home tonight, I'm gonna buy, have about 3 bottles of this. I'm gonna get a little spray bottle, and that'll make it more efficient, rather than 1/4 of it going on the bait and 3/4 of it going in the ground. You know what I mean? A spray bottle, I think, would be way more efficient. That's why I get paid the big money. Yep, here they come. Oh, you got on. Sometimes that happens when it was solidly hooked, but I set it down to turn the camera on, you know. That's part of it. So I just had a hit on the van stall, and then it just went kind of dead, but strangely dead, not like the fish spit it. So I reeled it in and it was a bite off. So hopefully there's bluefish afloat around somewhere. That'd be nice. I threw on a leader now, so I got a leader. I went back to using mono. The run that we had a few weeks ago, the Slammer Blues, and now I'm going to go back to the steel leader now, because that was definitely a bite off. I just retied, and hopefully get one of them hard fighting Mike Tyson type fish. Look at that, a beautiful old wooden ship. Boy oh boy, that's probably as much, if not more, than high-end yachts its size. Look at that, it's all wood. That is spectacular. I can't imagine what inside must look like, those bedrooms and the galley and all that there. What a beautiful, beautiful ship. That's cool. Fun enough to see the small ones, but something big like that, that's millions right there, easy. It's got all the electronics, it's got radar on top and everything. Wow. Cool stuff. I don't know if you can see it or not. Blitz right there. Which means the water's choppy. You can't really see. Last week it was pretty glassy, but there's a top water blitz right there going on. And there's bait in the water. And as you can see, there is fish this week. So cool. And so the tide is totally flipped to the west now. We came in on the east and fished through slack, and now we're running west tide now. Let's see what this brings. What that right there is right here. Look at that. I don't know what that is. It might be an ocean sunfish. Come on, buddy. Amazing. I don't know if you can see that or not. Hope you can see it. Come on up, bud. Do that again. Might be an ocean sunfish, or might be a big old shark. That's not 20 feet in front of me. Come on, come up again. Whatever it is, it's big. Where you at? Come on. I'd love to hook that thing. You don't eat meat on. You don't eat mac junk though. They eat the smaller things. If that's what it is, if it's a shark, I'll take it on. Bring that stuff out. I'll put it on my pen. I hope the Van Stalker might handle it too. Come on, where'd you go? Oh. I hope you saw it. As soon as I shut this camera off, he's gonna come back up. I know he is. So this is generally, you know, as each week goes by in the fall, more this thing comes to life. I mean, you know, as you can see, it's breaking fish. It's choppy, but I'm absolutely sure there's bait in the water. I'm reeling in, you can see the little silver side jumping out of the way as I reel in. Ocean sunfish and fish to catch, and it's amazing. There's bait in here, there's fish in here, and then of course the migration is, I absolutely feel it's underway now, and water temperature's starting to drop, and this is what happens. And it's a magical place and wicked fun. And look at this, I want to show you something. I just noticed this. Look at that hat. Time for a new one? No way, dude. That's where the juice comes from. What I mean is, that's the luck, man. You never, ever, ever buy a new hat until it's falling off your head. That's where the luck comes from. Just thought you'd like to know. So the tide's really cranking to the west, and my bait, she's running low, so it signals the end of another episode. Had a lot of fun today, saw a lot of nature, and hope I gave you a few laughs. It's time to get out here. You got to get out here because this place is coming alive. If you have any urge to come out here, this is a good time to get out here, bros. Thank you very much for watching. Of course, like and subscribe if you're new. And I hope you like this edition of Saturday Morning Outdoors. And we'll see you next week, of course. Same rat time, same rat channel, God willing. Thank you very much, guys, for watching. See you.